Alright guys, so this video is for people who want to become better at healer, and not necessarily on one hero, but just in healing in general. This video is going to be over general knowledge of your healer, ult economy, shot calls and callouts, positioning, pocket healing versus sustain healing, and ult usage. Okay, so important things that you need to know about general knowledge, which is our first part that I'm going to go over. You need to know things like just have an idea of what your healer does, what each ability does, what are the cooldowns on those abilities, how far does it go, ranges, how much does it damage, how much ult charge it might give you, how fast you can move, right? Things such as that, like that. You just need to know that about your healer, because if you don't know how much more it heals versus how much a Lucio heals, that might affect you on your team comp and your own personal pick. Most of the time, nobody really cares on what healer you play in general. They just care about having heals, period. So it's honestly up to you on what you prefer healing with. But having a general knowledge of who can heal more than who, or what healer can do what and what other healers can't do, is really good to know. Alright, so next step you have ult usage. Using your ult as a healer usually cancels the enemy push, or can it also initiate at the same time? What I mean by it can initiate, if you use, let's say, Transcendence, if they bait your Transcendence, you can, let's say they grab, right? Let's say they just throw out a grab. They grab like 5 of your teammates, but they don't do any, like any follow-up. Like I said, let's say it's just Zarya and the Reinhardt, right? And the rest of their team is dead. Like there's no DPS up front, there's no healers, nothing. It's just them two. Let's say there's already a panic grabs, right? If you don't understand this, that she's panic grabbing, and you transfer it, you're pretty much wasting the trance because nothing really happened. Like you transfer no reason, right? So now this could initiate a push for their team because they understand that we also wasted an ult as well, and they could just push off of that. They might have a Genji blade or something, or they might have some sort of ult that can shred you down really quickly and, you know, continue their push. Also, you don't need to, but it's really helpful when you understand what the enemy team ultage percentages are at. Like, let's say they have a Reinhardt, right, he's been hitting you with a lot of fire strikes, he's been hitting your tank with a lot of fire strikes, right? It's been a while, maybe he charged someone, swung his hammer a couple times. That might be a sign that he has his Earth Shatter. And calling that out to your teammate will really help, especially if you have a shield take. It helps them understand, or just lets them know ahead of time. Maybe it can get blocked, or you can just prepare for it. Let's say there's a Zarya, right? She's been high beam for a really long time. So let's say she's been high beam for a long time. She's been on your D.Va game. She's been getting her out of mech. Let's say that Zarya's been really aggressive. She's been killing people. It's been a couple minutes, right? She's had this high beam. She's probably going to have that graph. So it's nice. You want to let your team know that you have trans, or you're close to trans, or you maybe have sound barrier or something for it, or just letting your team know in general that they have that graph. It's just good to know. It's also good to keep up on what your team has, so you understand how to push and what you're doing. So maybe you can coordinate with your team a little better, because healers such as Lucio and Zenyatta really like, it's a lot of coordination that goes with your team, and that's just gonna help overall. Okay, so shot calling and callouts are really big, especially if you're running characters such as D.Va and Winston. Maybe faster characters such as Tracer and Genji, or maybe a soldier, or characters, or just any type of DPS or off tank. Or just callouts in general are really good in shot calling, because callouts lets your team just know what's behind them, what's in front of them. It gives them an extra eye. You're playing with them. This is a team game. You want to let them know where the enemy is at, so they can position themselves better. Alright. Now, shot calls, you need to understand like who is important. And even if you don't understand that, doing a shot call, let's say, oh, focus on Reinhardt, right? It'll put all your team focus onto that Reinhardt. There's no healing in the game that could keep him up. Like, especially if your teammates are good enough, like if they put enough damage in, like it's just not. It's not really possible if your team focuses on that one person, especially if they're Discord with a person like with a character like Zenyatta. So shock dolls are really good. Even letting your team know who is low health and who isn't, who's full health, and who's on point. Let's say is really helpful. It also gives lets them be creative on like who they're going after. So let's say they've been chasing this Mercy for a long time, right? You can't really they're having trouble killing her. They're gonna get irritated. So if because they can't kill her, and most of the time they'll get even more aggressive just to kill her. They'll get out of position, die, and then they'll get tilted. Not necessarily at your team, but necessarily just at themselves because they weren't able to do what they're doing. So letting you know, let's say, oh, the Lucio is one tap, right? It'll like, okay, let me just take my focus off this. Let me stop wasting my time. Let me go kill. Let me go help my team kill the Lucio, so it makes it actually seem like I'm doing something. So things like that will just help your team. I know I enjoy it whenever I play DPS or whenever I play things like such as Winston as a dive tank. It's just really helpful to know who is what, just to like finish them off faster. Now callouts. Let's say someone's flanking. Now this is my big pet peeve here when people don't do these kind of callouts. When there's someone flanking and you see them, you need to do that callout. Let's say you hear someone flanking. You think you heard a tracer blink or something, right? You think you heard a tracer blink in your back line, and she might, she's trying to like get you that sneaky pulse bomb. They might something like that. Just let your team know. It's like, hey, there might be a tracer behind. Just things like that. Not just ignore it and say that, oh, there isn't a tracer behind. Just like that. Don't be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Now, a big thing that goes into these shot calls and callouts is that not everything you can see. So, like I said, hearing these things is going to be really helpful. Personally, I enjoy using a headset. For as long as I've played with it, I can't play without it. Like, it's just hard for me to play without it because it's like having it's a really amplified sense, and that's really helpful. Right? I don't really have expensive ones, so I mean it also depends on your definition of expensive. I use these $50 Turtle Beaches, and they work just like the $200 ones. You can hear pretty well with them. The mic quality is good, so that really helps out as well. Okay, so next is positioning. Your positioning is so detrimental. You can throw a game and also carry a game with your positioning, and a lot of people don't understand that. Oh yeah, like you might be playing healer, just play around your tanks, move up when they move up, right? It sounds pretty basic, but a lot of people, it's easy to talk about it when you're not in the game and you're not thinking about something. But once you become in the game and you start thinking about, you're worried about, their tracer in the backline, in your backline, right? Like your focus is on her, you're not really thinking about where you're at currently, and you're not being, like, you're just not in knowledge. Like you're not thinking about what you're really doing. And thinking about what you're doing is really good. And you just need to be constantly thinking about where you're at and how to improve where you're at. Let's say the enemy team has a Widowmaker. Use your shield tank, right? But that shield isn't going to be up forever, The Winston bubble might go down. The Orisa bubble is going to destroy it. It's going to get moved. Reinhardt's shield doesn't last forever. He might drop it to throw a fire strike, right? And all of that is openings for the Widowmaker. Or even Hanzo, right? So Widowmaker might go for a grapple shot. She just shoot over your shield. So you also have to have map knowledge. Play around your map. Play around your surroundings. Use your walls to your advantage. And just have basic knowledge of like where you are. Right? Let's say you're fighting a Tracer in your backline, right? And notice the ring around the Rosie strat is really good. Because Tracer, she has 3 blinks. Right? And she's not really slow, I would say. Whenever she's not using her blinks, but she's a lot slower than when she's using her blinks. But so if you're going around the Rosie, let's say around a pillar or around some crates, right, or just like around the corner, it throws off her aim if she blinks around the corner and then shoots. Whereas it might be different where she might walk around the corner really slowly. Okay, so this is my terms. Whereas pocket healing and sustain healing wise, pocket healing is you're keeping you're healing one person only. All your focus is onto one person, right? And for this person to go in, stay alive, and not get punished by the enemy DPS or tanks, and to get that pick, right? That's what pocket healing is for me. Sustain healing, right, is keeping someone up. Sustain healing is like, oh, they've taken damage, heal them up to full. Oh, they need a top off, right? You're sustaining them. You're keeping them in the fight. Things like that. And you could also say, oh, pocket healing is exactly like sustain healing because you're keeping them up so they can stay in the fight and get a pick, right? And you could say that, but it's two very, very different things. Sustain healing is everyone. You're sustaining your entire team as well, not just one person. Alright? If you're pocket healing, you're pocket healing one person. Right? So that makes a little more sense. So, for me, I pocket heal a lot because we have a lot of high potential characters. People who have really high potential in fights, people who can get kills on their own, such as like our divas that I know, and like this DPS heroes like Soldier, maybe a Junkrat, Reaper, heroes like those guys, and they can just get kills on their own really easily. Right? So I pocket heal a lot, and honestly I prefer pocket healing because it lets your team open up and do more things on their own. Whereas sustain healing, you're just keeping them up for their inevitable death, and pocket healing opens up a route for them to actually get a kill. So let's say someone's like a Winston, right? You're playing Mercy and the Winston's jumping on the Genji, right? Right here you're going to sustain heal. You're not pocket healing. You're sustaining the Genji so he can get away from the Winston, or until someone else comes in and helps the Genji, kill that Winston, for instance, right? Pocket healing is where your diva is going deep. She's going deep into their backline to kill a Zenyatta, right? So you want to trace the diva. So this is where I call trailing or tracing. You trail them. You trail that tank or that DPS to go aid them in that. So let's say you're playing Mercy, you can damage boost them while they're there. You can just don't even damage boost them. You just heal them and just keep them up long enough for that character to die. Or you can, let's say you're playing Lucio, you speed boost them in. You're Ana, you scope in. You might sleep dart them, anti them. Your Zenyatta, you discord them, right? You keep an orb on them and watch, or you can move up ahead and just help pressure off the enemy team from that one hero that you're trying to dive. Okay, so ult usage. Alright, ult usage is different from, it kind of relates back to ultimate economy. Ultimate usage is I mentioned this in ultimate economy. You want to understand, like, when to properly use your ultimate. Right, if the Genji blades, you pop your trans, put down your sound barrier, things like that. Ultimate usage is also sustaining your tank. I say your tank got hooked, and the entire enemy team is diving onto that one tank. Let's say your diva got hooked into the choke. Right, your diva doesn't want to be there. She's getting pressured down a lot. She's taking a lot of damage. Pop your coalescence, aim that coalescence at that, at the diva. Pop your trans for the diva to keep her up. Because once the enemy team gets a pick, especially in higher ranks, they're going to dive in. It instantly becomes a 5v6 and they have the advantage. That's just how it goes, right? On any pick, maybe one pick, two picks, someone's weak, they might dive in that one person. That also initiates a push. So popping your ultimate to keep someone up is very important. Mercy's Valkyrie, for instance, because it's got nerfed, she can't really res as often anymore. Her healing is still the same, right? So pop that Valkyrie, so it gives you more range too. You can fly farther away. And even though they nerfed her speed a little bit in Valkyrie, you can still go a little bit faster. It's very, very little bit, but some speed helps. and you can also still fly to targets further away than you are out of Valkyrie, right? And you can also do chain healing. So if you pop that Valkyrie and sustain that one person, now your team is all sustained. Now, since they're all full health, you can pocket healing, right? And then your team can initiate a fight and push in, clean them up, and wait for the next push. Only usage is mainly as a healer that you just want to, like I said, sustain, keep them up, don't let them die, because once they die, if you fail on keeping them up and they die, like, you're pretty much screwed. Just, I don't know, watch any type of, if you ever just watch any type of, I don't know, maybe, I want, like, pro games, like Owl, Overwatch League, Contenders, things like that, Apex Contenders, things like that. They, just watch their games. If you can't watch it live, just watch it, like, after it's recorded. And just watching these things, you can see, like, what's really, like, how to, improve, and, like, things that happen because something happened, right? Okay, but that's all I really have for today, and hope you guys are doing good. Maybe posting Zenyatta more in Mercy, like 3 separate videos and tips on those. So yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day, and this is all I've got.
That's how you know the diva's not. I don't know. That's how you know a diva's not good. Whenever it's just her and somebody, and then she doesn't walk forward when she's shooting at somebody. She just stands there.